Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to another session of book review. Today's book for review is Ikigai. It's a very interesting book and it has impacted millions of people across the world. And I read this book some very recently, just about a month or two ago. And I heard about it, but I when I went through that book, I think it was an eye opener. And so let's dive straight into the topic and let's see, explore what this book has got to offer us. So let me share my screen with you, right? I'll just do that, right? Yeah. I hope you can see this. Okay. So let me make the screen large. 1 minute. Okay. Let me once for a moment. Okay. Okay, fine. So let me share the screen and start this slide. Yeah. So I'm using MindMeister for me to put all these thoughts in a mind map. And there are some amazing people also who have already captured these details in the mind map. And it's the best way to do. Capture all the thoughts that you get from the book in a mind map, and you can present it to others. You can share this with others. So at the end of this session, I will share this mind map with you all, and you can go through this and you'll understand exactly what the author is trying to say, and it will also help you to revisit that at any given point in time. Okay, so Ikigai book, let's get started. So this book is actually exploring the reason for being. The rough translation of this word Ikigai is the happiness of always being busy. This is a Japanese word which has got this rough translation into Japanese, okay? From Japanese to English. The happiness of always being busy. It's got a little spiritual bent to it as well, okay? All the stuff that we learn in India, the Vedic stuff and all of that, about exploring yourself and all of that. So this has got a kind of a spiritual bent to it as well. So it's also about finding a purpose in life, a sense of satisfaction that you get out of knowing your purpose, having clarity about what you're doing, why you're doing, and the happiness that comes along with it, and the serenity that you experience out of knowing that you're headed in the right direction. Now, the important thing which was there covered in this book has been actually explored by a lot of other authors and thinkers as well, and it's gone a little deeper than what's mentioned in the book. So I'll just quickly touch upon this. So to find your Ikigai, what the author says is that you actually find out what is it that you love. What is it that you love doing? And the second aspect of the finding the Ikigai is also about that which the world really needs. If you are doing that and if you're loving it, then that takes care of two parts of your Ikigai. The third aspect is about that which you can get paid for. And the fourth aspect is that which you are really good at. So if these four aspects are covered, and if you can get the intersection of these four aspects of your life, then you would have really found out your Ikigai. That's what the authors say. Okay. Now, there is a little more meaning to this. What they've also done is that any of these two quadrants, any of these two circles, if they overlap, then you do not get everything. You get part of the things that you're really looking for. For example, if you're looking at, you have found out something which you love doing, and you also found out that which the world needs. So when these two intersect and these two happen to you simultaneously, then you have found your mission. When you have actually found out what is that the world needs, and you also found out that what the world is going to pay for it, you have found your vocation. When you find out what is that you love and what is it that you are actually good at, that intersection is you have found your passion. And when you have found out what is it that you are good at and what is it that the world is that for which you can be paid for, you have found your profession. So each of these words, mission, vocation, passion, profession, they don't cover all the aspects of your life which will give you true meaning. So only when all of these four intersect, you get the Ikigai. Okay, it's a beautiful concept. So this slide is important. This slide is very important for you to get the concept of Ikigai clear. Also, Some people have gone one step ahead and they also found out if one of these four elements is missing, then what happens? Okay, so that's a very interesting perspective they brought. Okay, so if you look at it in this circles, there is one which is the center, that's the Ikigai. Then you have these places where two circles intersect. You've got passion, mission, vocation, and profession. Then there are places where there are three circles which are intersecting, and that's been depicted with a straight line coming out of those places, and it's shown, like if you have something, if you found something which is, that which you are good at, okay, and that which you love, and that which you will get paid for, but you're not found out that which the world needs. In that situation, you will probably have found your profession. You will be comfortable, but feeling a sense of emptiness. Okay, so just play around with this slide. Just explore this slide. I'm going to share this mind map with you in the end. So just go through this, put your mind to it, and see how beautifully this concept is explained by this concept. Where all these four elements meeting is giving you your Ikigai. Okay, so that's one concept to know about. So about this book, if you're looking at, it's basically the concept of the art of staying young while you grow old. Okay, and we all have this, especially in this day and age, we all have this aspiration to grow old gracefully, but at the same time stay young at heart. Stay young with regards to your aspiration, with regards to what you can contribute to other people's lives. Okay, so this book is all about that. Okay, this concept is very, very applicable to each and every one of us, irrespective of our age. And I've shared with you all in the past as well that I've been a very, very poor reader in the past. And it is only in January this year that I really took up reading very, very seriously because of two people in my lives. I'll share with you in one of the other sessions. So what happened is that from reading one book or practically nil in a year, I've come to reading almost 3 to 4 books in a month. Anywhere between 2 to 4 books for sure, 2 to 4 books in a month. And what it has helped me do is a lot of things. It's a discussion for another day. So this book is one of the most important reads for anyone. And so this will give a lot of clarity to you. And if you were to read this book twice or thrice, or if you were to read it, listen to your audio, and then again watch this session, probably a mix of this in short bursts will help you to get a lot of clarity. But in the first session, I think you should at least attempt to read the book in a matter of a few days. That will give you a lot of clarity, and it'll give you a lot of sense of where you're headed. Okay. Now, the important objective of this book is helping us understand our Ikigai. First of all, with the concept, give us clarity, and then also help us to evolve and understand our Ikigai. Help the readers also find out, what actually people who are living long, healthy lives and fulfilled lives, not just long and healthy, fulfilled lives. What is the secret that they are actually got to share with us? And this book covers the secret beautifully. And in fact, hats off to these two authors who have actually gone ahead and done a proper research. They have not only read a lot of books and researched on the topic, because there are a lot of nuggets inside the book about psychology and all of that. They have brought in those elements as well. But what they also have done is that they have traveled to Japan and found out from these communities which have got elderly people who are living healthy, living fulfilled lives, and researched them, spoken to them, understood, and brought that concise concept of what is it that makes them tick into this book. So just like you hear from coaches and mentors that all their condensed wisdom is coming to in a matter of few minutes and few hours. Similarly, this book is a condensation of the experience of these people, of these elderly people, or the people from different cultures who have actually lived their lives fully. And as we speak, they live their lives fully in a very fulfilled manner and in a very healthy manner. Okay, so this is relevant to every one of us. Okay, each one among us. So now the author has gone on to explain to us about the life of Okinawans. Okay, Okinawa is a village in Japan where it is known that the oldest living population in the world lives there. And this set of people in this village have got enviable levels of enthusiasm. Okay. And even up to ages of 90 plus, they go drive, they paint, they sing, they dance, they party, and it doesn't matter to them. They have a gala time. And this is explained that, how is it possible that these people, even up to the age of 100 and beyond, they have enviable levels of vitality and health, fewer chronic ailments, less rate of dementia in that community, also active even until the end of their lives. In fact, these authors have given us very, very practical stories as well, practical tidbits, of course, and also stories I've shared of one film cartoonist who does cartoons for movies. He does it actually. He used to draw it, not just on the computer. He used to manually draw it, and he's given examples of cooks who used to cook beautiful sushi, and he's given examples of people who make ceramic in a nice earthenware and in a very classical manner, all of those. And those examples make this book very, very light to read and very, very interesting. So I will not be able to cover some of those stories or most of those stories in this session. I would encourage you to pick up this book and read this at the earliest. It's a very easy read, okay? And so this is the life of Okinawans. Now, what is the secret of Okinawans, which has given them lasting health of body, mind, and spirit? So when the researchers have found out after their detailed discussion and spending time with them, was that Okinawans have a very healthy full diet. They actually are eating only up to their stomach being 80% full. In fact, in most places in Japan, they say that they follow this principle of only having tummy full up to 80%. In fact, the authors have gone on to explain to us that in this culture, what they do is, in Japanese culture, they serve meals in small plates and in multiple portions. Like, you might have 4 or 5 portions. So visually, when you're approaching food, you are like, okay, you're seeing 5 portions there. But those portions are all small portions. They're not large portions. But mentally, you are actually feeling already satiated. When you look at it itself, you feel quite good. And when you consume it, the plates are smaller. The quantity is not too much. So you end up eating less. That is one of the secrets the authors have shared. But also, when someone sits down for a meal, they are happy, satisfied with having only 80% of their fill. And that is one of their secrets. The second one, simple outdoor lives in the subtropical climate. Of course, climate, everyone doesn't have a say. Whichever climate you're living in is the climate that you have to adopt and you have to adjust. But Okinawans have the advantage of subtropical climate, they say. But they are mostly in the outdoors, they say. They're in the outdoors. The third secret of theirs is that they have a lot of antioxidant rich green tea made from, luckily for them, they have good flowing water, sparkling. The water which is flowing there in their rivers, in their, around their village, has got a lot of good properties. And that flowing water has got the properties with which they're making the green tea, which is helping them to get a lot of antioxidants into their body. The next point is that they treat everyone like brothers and sisters. So basically, they have this feeling of bondage with everyone, that feeling of family and friends. So they have this kind of mindset. In fact, somewhere he's mentioned in passing that Okinawans had gone through a lot of pain during the World War II, and they had to bear the brunt of the World War II. And in spite of that, it's a choice that they've made, that they treat everyone with the sense of respect, love, and sharing and giving. The next point is that they practice teamwork, helping others, and nurturing friendships. So they have a community bonding they have. And that community bonding helps them reach out to people, give them the helping hand, and help them to reach and help them to come out with if they have any problems, to circumvent those problems and help them to grow. And the last part is very important. They take enough rest. Okay, this point was very good for me because I am particularly tending to be hyper sometimes. So I like to have a lot of packed sessions and packed schedule and all of that. So here was a silent message for me also personally, that getting rest, taking things slow. You'll also hear in the next few slides also, taking things one thing at a time, not necessarily multitasking. In fact, this book is totally against multitasking. So all of those concepts are beautifully covered in this, and these are the few secrets of Okinawans. Now, there are 5 blue zones in the world according to the authors. That means there are 5 identified blue zones where people live up to very old age, beyond 100. They live healthy lives, and they live also meaningful lives, purposeful lives. And those are listed here out here. And first among them is, of course, Okinawa in Japan. Then there is Sardinia in Italy. Then there is Loma Linda in California. There is Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica, and Icaria in Greece. So these are the 5 blue zones, identified blue zones in the world, which have the oldest living population in the world and healthy living population. And most of all, enjoying themselves as well. Okay, having a good time as well. Okay, it's not like with aches and pain and complaining and all that. They're having a good time. These people are having a good time. They're having a gala time. Now, so from the studies of these 5 places, these are the gist of what the authors have said. What is the secret? One is, the resources are scarce and communities have a nature of helping each other. In all these places, there is some kind of scarcity of resources. The second thing is, they have a purpose in life. They all found their purpose in life. The community as a whole, and in the individual level as well, they have managed to find a purpose in their lives. It's not like without any purpose they're living. They have got a purpose in life. Diet and exercise are 2 main ingredients of their life all throughout, irrespective of their age. Even up to a ripe old age, even beyond 100, they practice good diet and exercise. They consume plenty of vegetables, drink alcohol in moderation, consume less meat and processed foods, and broad circle of friends and family relations. Okay, this is something which is very, very important, because the authors have gone to great pains to explain to us, in all these communities, what the mindset is of helping each other. They're not in competition with each other. They're not like putting down each other. They're trying to help each other, give that sense of bonding. Especially in some of our cultures as well. Even in India, if you remember, in the 70s and 80s, people who are old enough to remember that, or old enough to have lived that era, you would have seen that era was a time where there was a lot of bonding. You could just visit anyone's house at any time of the day or night, and you'll get a warm welcome. You'll get warm food probably, and you'll get a good time spending with them, right? More and more, it's become less and less, right? At least I get the sense. I don't know how many of you get the sense. That bonding, that sense of being accessible to others and being able to access others is missing now to a large extent, right? So these people have that community bonding feeling even now. Okay, this book is quite recent. Okay, it's not very old. It's about 2 or 3 years old, not very old. Okay, so this he talks about that, and consumes and a broad circle of friends and family relations, and no strenuous exercise but daily walks and work into their 90s, and they do activity which are less strenuous. They are not rigorous exercise, simple, not very impactful exercises like gardening. Basically, they believe in being active. They're active. They're doing activities. And other important point that he keeps on repeating is that in an unhurried fashion, they do a lot of activities. They're busy, but they are doing most of these activities one activity at a time, and they're doing mostly in a very, very unhurried pace. Okay. So that's as far as these five places are concerned, which are named as blue zones. Now, the key takeaway from this book are this. Okay, first of all, clearly the diet is a miracle diet that they're having. The Okinawans especially have a unique eating habit where they eat only up to 80% full of their stomach, and that does not mean that they have the objective technique to estimate that. But basically, they stop eating when they start feeling full and consciously avoid overeating. And the idea is to be a little hungry when one finishes the meal and not overstuffing. So rarely they consume sugar. Food rich in antioxidants like raw vegetables, fruits, salads, and green tea. All these are, and berries. All these are things that they consume in a large quantity. In fact, somewhere in the book is mentioned that 3 days in a week they consume fish. All that is mentioned in the book very beautifully. So most of these concepts, when you read this, you know it already in your subconscious mind, and also somewhere you have read it, you know it. Only thing is that sometimes we are not practicing for whatever reason. So reading these books actually brings it to the fore, and helps you to get a sense of what can be done to change your life in a small way, but yet it will be a meaningful way and make a huge impact to you and your family, right? So the next point is variety of vegetables, fruits, and grains. Okay, and recently, actually January, mid of January, I signed up for a excellent session and a training program with one of mentors in nutrition and fitness area, and he helped me to change my diet. Because my diet used to be more of carbohydrates, like typical South Indian food, more of carbohydrates, maybe sambar, maybe one vegetable and all of that, less salad and all of that. Thanks to this gentleman, I actually changed the habits in our family, entire family. Have more salads, have more of legumes, all of that. And if you have that balanced diet, it helps you to actually go a long way. And this book was actually adding sense to what this mentor of mine was telling me, right? So a variety of vegetables, fruits, and grains, less meat, avoid desserts, and all food is served only at once. Okay, they don't like keep on serving. You have all your spread in front of you, so that visually this is what I'm going to consume, and nothing beyond that. Very nice, isn't it? Very interesting concept, right? So now the second point, very, very important. Okay, they don't do any rigorous exercise, it seems. They just keep moving. The activities that is there in their day-to-day living itself involves movement. Like stepping out, picking up some groceries, going to the community, enjoying themselves, having a party, gala time, or playing cards, or having karaoke sessions, which I love. Okay, I really love karaoke sessions. So all of this. So they principally believe in moving, and in Japanese culture, very important point, it seems there's no word which translates to retirement or retire. It's like you are working in your passion zone, in a zone which is actually meant for you, and you never retire. You just keep on doing the stuff, okay? And you keep on having these community engagements with your friends, with the neighbors, and all of that, and you have a gala time. Then, so the concept is never retire, and they're very active people, but with a sense of purpose. And the important thing is that they involve themselves in activities like gardening, which are less strenuous, in the sense they're not very highly impactful, like not high impact exercises. Okay, so they don't do any rigorous exercise like marathon running and all of that, but they do all this stuff which is like gardening, most of this walking, because their day-to-day living itself involves walking, it seems. Okay, so yoga is of course what this author has spoken, and it is talked about this concept of radio taiso. That is actually nothing but group activity of playing a music, and the group actually involving themselves in some easy actions, movements of exercise. It could be upper body movement, leg movement, and all of that, so that your limbs and your joints start becoming loosening up. And they do this at regular, almost daily, at regular intervals, at a fixed time. And the author says that it's nothing spectacular. The exercise routine is nothing spectacular. It's very simple, but it actually helps to build in the sense of community. It also helps more and more people to be active. Very, very interesting concept. So the other point which is nicely covered in this book, which is very, very closely related to Ikigai, is about this concept of flow. Now, this flow is actually known in a lot of cultures, even in Indian cultures, we know that. Okay, and this flow culture has been very beautifully captured in this book, and he has gone to great depths in covering this. He's given examples, he's given practical steps for us to follow the flow and get into the mode of flow. And just to get you an understanding of flow, the authors have given the psychologist who came up with this concept, and he says that flow state refers to the state in which people are so involved and immersed in an activity that nothing else seems to matter to them. Because like almost like some of the gurus, some of the close gurus that we know in India also, they talk about doing something with being fully present, being mindful of this, of what you're doing, enjoying it, being in the present. So all of those concept is a state of flow, and the person is absolutely present in the moment and completely immersed in the task to an extent where he or she loses sense of time, and they just do the activity just for the sake of doing it. Very beautiful concept. Okay. And okay, let me just yeah. So the idea and the key is to find your ikigai, one thing at a time. Take one thing at a time, no multitasking, and no need to crunch your time and see, oh, and the sense of thing, that urgency that we always have, and especially in today's modern day living. Oh, I got this next appointment, I have to move there, and then automatically I got an appointment with my team now, I got a webinar now, all of that. So take one thing at a time, enjoy it, be immersed in it, and take things at its own pace. So maybe one practical way that I would think of for myself is that space out your appointments. Don't have too many activities for the day. Don't have every day of the week consumed in some kind of appointment or some kind of activity. Have some days for you to just enjoy, be with your family, be with your friends, and have a good time. So one thing at a time. And perseverance and consistency is a concept which is being talked about, because what they say is that the more we train in terms of getting into flow state and consistently doing it and getting into flow state, the closer we'll be to our ikigai. So the more you follow your flow state, more you get into flow state on a regular basis, the more closer you'll be to your ikigai. Okay. So one key ingredient to living your ikigai is the ability to reach flow state at will, very easily, and at regular intervals. In fact, for all these cultures that they are talked about in this book, living in the flow state is a very, very natural thing. This example I was telling somewhere a little while ago about this artist who's actually doing this films for the film company. He was doing this artwork and cartoons he was drawing, and all these stories that he used to do for the movies, he used to personally draw it. And his the authors have given an anecdote where he was due for retirement, and the next day after his retirement, his colleagues were surprised that he was already there in the office, and his only submission to his superiors in the company was this: that please allow me to do what I want to do till the end of my life. I want to just come here, draw, and do my stuff. So if you're enjoying what you're doing, and if you're in the flow state, nothing seems like work. It's not a work at all. You're just enjoying it. And I think there are a lot of people, especially thanks to today's culture of people, last few months, especially for a lot of us, has been a time for us to learn and spend time on webinars and learn from great mentors. And it has given us this ability to also explore a little deeper, take things slower, at the same time explore things at our deeper level and find out that connection, which is going to probably it actually means ikigai. That's what this book is all about. Yeah. So now the flow sparks joy in life, and you get clarity in goal setting. You have high interest in life, and you are always in the moment. You're not thinking of the past, you're not thinking of the future. You're in the moment. You're enjoying it. And that's the flow state. So strategies for the flow state in brief, if I had to cover what has already been, it's a very exhaustive thing that they've given in the book. It's not a very difficult read. It's a very easy read. And what they've talked about is the strategies. One of them is choose a task which is not too difficult. I think in the other book as well, which I reviewed last week, also this is the same thing that they talked. Don't take up task which is very, very easy. At the same time, don't take up task which is extremely difficult. Choose a difficulty task which is difficult, slightly beyond your capacity. At the same time, those have to be activities which are not too easy as well. Okay, so have a clear, concrete objective for doing it. Concentrate on a single task at a moment, no multitasking, and do microflow. Okay, he's given an example of I think Bill Gates. I'm not sure that. Every day after dinner, I believe he likes to wash the utensils. And when he's washing the utensils, he's in the state of flow. Everything stops in his mind. He's like, in the activity of washing the vessels and enjoying that process of washing the vessels. So the author says that each one of us can achieve the state of microflow very easily, and it can be in any activity. It can be in any activity. It doesn't have to be any specific activity of your employment or for your vocation or your profession or anything. It can be even simple activities that you do on a day-to-day basis. You can achieve flow, microflow. He's given some example of some, I think, philosopher. I'm quite bad with certain things. Okay, so I will not remember exactly those examples. For that, I encourage you to go and read the book. But he's given this example of a very renowned, I think, psychologist or someone who's actually been, who's taken up a work with a company, and for the first day, the scientist or the person who was the psychologist, his work was not ready for him by the employer or the person who took the contract from him to get this work done. So what he did, and he said, give me something meaningful and I want to do something. So they made him go and pick up stuff for the office, which is required, purchasing some stuff for the office on a day-to-day basis. They just sent him there for that. And they said, just go and pick that up and come. Okay. And he happily went and did that. So the author says that all of these small activities, which might actually seem like it's below your capability and all of that, helps you to be in the present moment. If you were to do with the focus that I want to achieve microflow with those activities, then it can do wonders to you. Okay. Very nice concepts covered here. So the other concept, which is very interesting, which is slightly alien to most of us. Okay. It was new to me as well. So he talks about a concept of beyond resilience. Okay. He says that there are 3 states that normally one has experienced in their lives. One is the fragile state. That means when some adversity is faced by us, some adversity comes to us, we are actually weakened. When someone harms us, or when someone does something which is not conducive to what we want to do or achieve, it actually weakens us. We feel let down. We feel like slowed down. And it's a sense of feeling fragile. The second state is about resilient. That means you're strong, nothing harms you. You don't even feel like anything. Okay, it's nothing. You just brush it aside and you just move on. That is a resilient state. The third state, it's a very interesting concept he's brought about, the authors have said, is anti-fragile, where it is not just resilient. That means you're not just, nothing can harm you, nothing can affect you, not that concept. It's about one stage beyond that. With every stage, with every moment of adversity, you get stronger and stronger. You get stronger when you're harmed. Okay. In fact, he's given the example of the Hydra. That is Hydra, which grows 2 heads every time you chop off one. One you chop out, you get 2 heads. How can you possibly defeat something that gets stronger every time you harm it? That is anti-fragility. That is beyond being resilient. Okay. So the authors talk about this concept of not being fragile, of course, not just being resilient, but being anti-fragile. That means with every adversity, you don't give up, of course. You actually become stronger. You probably know that this thing doesn't work. Now I have to do something else. And you try out hundreds of things and you try and never give up. And if you get stuck somewhere, there are some amazing books, there are some amazing mentors. Just reach out to them. And that helping hand just comes to you very easily these days. Okay. So that's the concept about these 3 states. Very, very interesting concept. And also the anti-fragile, he says, having Ikigai aids your resilience. Focusing on your goals during challenges also helps. And anti-fragile, things are that gain from disorder is the concept of anti-fragile. That is getting better with every blow. Setback is an opportunity for growth. And that is the concept which has been beautifully covered in this book of anti-fragility. Okay, the concept of anti-fragility. Very, very interesting concept. Okay, and this we have seen actually many times that we in our journey as well. Initially, when you start off, when you're not having that conviction, and when you're not having clarity about your purpose in life, when something adversity comes, first adversity comes, we tend to give up, and then we look for what is the next thing which is interesting, or the next person who can be helping you, and you keep on shifting your focus. Ultimately, you end up realizing that for anything to be made a success, it needs time, it needs perseverance from our side, and most of all, it needs clarity. So that's what is covered in that concept of anti-fragility. Okay. So how to become anti-fragile? So the important and easy method steps that they have given is having more choices, like taking up a side hustle, having great relationships all around, pursuing a hobby, taking calculated risks, community engagement, and having a wide circle of friends, of acquaintances, of mentors, of colleagues. All of this is actually helping you to become anti-fragile. Nicely covered concept, and also giving us practical tips of how to do that. And all this is covered in a lot of examples. All these examples give you a lot of clarity in terms of those concepts. Okay. Now, I'll come to one important part, which I think is relevant to everyone. The anti-aging secrets, little things that add up to make our lives long, fulfilled, and happy. Okay. So number one, have an active mind and youthful body. Keep learning and challenging your set patterns. So what he says, what the authors say is that they've quoted some psychologists as well. They said that active mind leads to youthful body. It's highly correlated. And how to have an active mind? Human beings, we have a tendency to do set patterns. And when you do set patterns, you are actually, your mind is not involved in that. So if you were to indulge in learning something new, seeking out some new knowledge, maybe like there are some, in this book they've not said that, but there are people who say that learn new language, learn a new skill, or explore new stuff, do things which are outside your comfort zone. So when you do that, when you keep learning and challenging your set patterns, that helps you to have an active mind. That's what he said. Then play with kids and pets and join a sports team. Okay, these are all very, very practical tips. Okay, reduce stress, but at the same time, what the authors say is that little stress is good. Okay, and I think for me, I realized that sometimes taking up too many things at one time, that leads to stress. Doing multitasking, taking too many things at one time, not doing things at a very, very hurried pace. All of this can lead to stress. So reduce stress, but little stress is good. And a lot of sitting will age you, he says. Okay, I think now there is a concept of people in workplaces also encouraging people to stand on their workstation and work, right? So you can do that. And I have this tendency that, especially in some webinars that I don't need to have my camera on, I would like to keep the camera off and I just pace the room, just easy pace. Okay, just pace the room, and it gives you a good feeling. Instead of sitting in one place and just watching for 2-3 hours a webinar. Especially these days, you get some amazing webinars that happens over the course of the entire day, and sometimes 3 days as well. So what I do is I just go on the mode of switching off my camera, and I just keep walking around and picking up some stuff from the other room and do that. But of course, I don't miss out anything, because some of those pearls of wisdom that you get sitting in your home is something which I don't think you'll get in the near future. Once these things open up, then we'll all be out in the open, right? Okay, so a lot of sitting can age you. And then he's given a model secret. They say that models have got good skin tone. Okay, skin is very good. And their secret is that previous day to their ramp walk or their big event, they tend to sleep at least 8 to 10 hours of the sleep on the previous day. And that accounts for their good skin. Okay, and also attitude. Okay, here he's quoted a nice quote. He's written that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, it is a habit. Okay, so we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, it is a habit. Okay, so with this attitude, if we approach life, then automatically things will work out for us. Okay, and the last point which I want to cover today is the 10 rules of Ikigai. All these are summarized here, the 10 points. First one, stay active and never retire. Second one, take it slow, take it at an easy pace. If there is someone who's got a fast pace, let them be happy with their pace. You have your own pace. Even if you're not in competition with anyone, and even if you have to do something according to your timelines, do it according to your timelines, not according to someone else's timelines. And there are sometimes some compulsions in some jobs that we do. There, of course, we don't have that luxury. Then quickly come to a place where you can do your daily stuff at least at your own pace. Okay, so take it slow. Point number 3, fill your stomach only 80%, only up to 80%. This is a very, very important point. Especially now because of affluence, all of us have got access to good food and the best of restaurants and all of that. And we sometimes tend to overeat. Sometimes it's okay, but as a practice, especially when you're at home, there's a very good principles to follow, that fill your stomach up to 80%. Surround yourself with friends. Very, very interesting. Okay. Stop being judgmental. Stop being, thinking that someone else is inferior or superior. Try and see where you can find level playing ground, where you can have some kind of meaningful interaction with people, not just on the social media, but also on a face-to-face basis as well. And if your profession allows you to do that, like mine does, network marketing is a beautiful profession where you are required to talk to people and interact with them face-to-face. Even if it's not, even in a job, or even if you're in a profession where you're a solopreneur, like a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist or a chartered accountant, there are a lot of opportunities for us to step out of what we are actually doing professionally, what we're doing, and interact with people that we would normally not interact with. So that helps us to probably build more bond, more connections with people across age groups and across professions. So surround yourself with friends. You don't know where you're going to get your next friend, next thick buddy, right? So get in shape. He's written, get in shape before the next birthday. Okay, get in shape. Smile a lot. Reconnect with nature whenever you get a chance, either on a weekly basis or in a fortnightly basis or on a monthly basis or on a quarterly basis. Try and see if you can reconnect with nature. Especially in Bangalore, there is a chance for us to go to a lot of parks. There are some amazing parks around in the center of the city as well. Try and see if you can at least devote one day in a week to just be there. Just go for a walk there and enjoy the nature. Look at the clouds, look at the trees, look at the greenery, and enjoy things which are nature. Okay. Then he says, give thanks. This gratitude attitude, very, very important. Give thanks to whatever you have in life, whatever you achieved in life. Live in the moment. Enjoy that. That is a flow state. Try and achieve flow state or micro flow state wherever possible. And know and follow your Ikigai. So that's the gist of what's there in this book, and it's a very interesting read. I encourage all of you to read this book, and this book will actually open up your mind to the possibilities that are there. Most of all, it will give you clarity about what is it that's your purpose in life. And in one of the other sessions, I'd also shared with you some another mentor's website where you can go and find out what are your values, what are the values that you really adhere to, or what are the values which are closer to your heart, and all those things. Sessions of different kind helps you. It's like you're trying to assess the situation and get your knowledge from different spaces, from books, from mentors, from websites, from videos, and all of that. But the important thing is that at the end of the day, if you have clarity about what is your purpose in life, a lot of things start falling in place for you. Then the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis doesn't become like a chore. It becomes like something which is second nature to you. That is the reason for your existence. That is the reason which makes you happy, makes the people around you happy, and also the people that you're serving with your knowledge and goodwill also happy. So with that positive note, I would like to end this session. All the very best to all of you, and my earnest desire and thought for all of you is that may you find your Ikigai. Have a nice day. Hi, welcome to my new live series where I'm going to be reviewing some of the must-read books. Self-education is known to make us a fortune, right? Right. Okay, you're the average of 5 people
that you hang out with, right? Absolutely right. Let me be very frank with you. My self-image with regards to my reading abilities until the beginning of 2021 was nothing much to feel proud of. But something changed in me during January 2021. Two people influenced me hugely to take to reading. From an average of 1 book a year, I have been able to do justice to an average of 2 to 3 books per month. Pretty good, right? I figured that self-education in the formats of reading great books and being coached by some of the great mentors are two of the fastest ways and best ways to grow exponentially. Reading and being open to being coached also helps us with the law of 5 people averages. You get access and time to some of the best and greatest thought leaders of this generation. I am Satish Rao. I am an abundance crusader, vlogger, online and network marketer.